Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the NoobTube. Today I'm talking about this thing, radio transmitter, and what you do with it right out of the box. Because I got my Wizard X220, and when I got it, I was just like, do you do it this way or this way? And I had no idea what the heck was going on, and I'm still kind of learning, trying to figure stuff out. This is a NoobTube, right? Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go over. I got some screen captures and stuff I did about what how I hooked it up in Betaflight and stuff. But first, you gotta hook up some switches on this thing. You need to go into the program in here and do it. And I know there's a few videos which are pretty easy to understand, but trying to kind of put everything all in one place and just kind of help out the noobs in the area. So we're gonna flip our switches. We're gonna hook it up to Betaflight. We're gonna set up our modes. And we're going to do a few different little things in there. So I think we're ready to go. So right out of the box, I've got my Flysky transmitter, and it will fly my Wizard X220 right out of the box. And if I turn it on and put it down and to the right, it'll arm the quad, and we can give it a little bit of input, and we can see that the motors will spin up. At that point, you can shut it down, put your props on, and go fly. All you're going to have programmed in is going to be angle mode. Angle mode will auto level your quad for you, and you can fly around and have as much fun with that as you'd like. This video is going to explain how to set up some switches on your transmitter right out of the box, change how you arm the quad instead of using this, and then right after this we're going to flip to some footage on my computer and showing you how to hook it up into Betaflight, which your X220 is going to come flashed with automatically, and change a few things and what these switches do and a few other fun things like that. So we'll dive right onto this. So this is on. Are my quads away and not powered up or anything right now. So I'm hoping we can see this on here. So let's go ahead and hold the OK button. All right. A couple times. Give it a couple taps and figure that out. We're going to skip system and go to function setup here. Press OK. We're going to go down to auxiliary channels. OK. Right out of the box, your transmitter should be programmed with these two guys right here. That's going to be VRB and VRA. Okay. We don't want any. I don't even know what these are for. Okay. Maybe like flying like actual airplanes or something. We don't want that. So what we want is a couple switches. Me personally, I like this switch and this switch. This is a 3-stage switch. I may actually, just for the sake of this video, I've undone what I did before. I think what I'm going to do is put it onto this switch because I'm kind of liking this one better to arm my quad. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and click OK. OK switches between the two options here. And if we click down or up, it's going to cycle through names, a bunch of letters, all right? These letters correspond with the letters that are on the top here. So this is SWA, okay? So channel number 5 we'll set up as SWA, okay? Click OK, it'll go down to the next one. This one we're going to set up on the 3-stage switch. Now this is important. I would say you don't really have an option here. This is the most useful switch I think for switching modes, okay? So we're going to go to SWC, and what we're going to do, I think if you hold the cancel button, okay, we got a good beep. We're going to check it. SWA, SWC, everything's still there. So I think we're done with this. We can go ahead and cancel, check it as many times as you want if you're paranoid. There's other things you can do in here. You can change some rates and all kind of fancy like pro stuff. I don't know how to do any of that. There's other videos for that. If I figure it out and I feel like making one, then I probably will. You can bind more quads to these things, which I will actually end up having to do here pretty soon. I'm excited about that. But I think we're going to go ahead and switch to Betaflight. Alright guys, now that we've got the switches on our transmitter set up how we want them, we're just going to go to Chrome. I don't know about using this in other browsers as well, but I'm going to look up Betaflight. I'm not going to click on these. I'm going to click on the one that says https chrome.google. It's going to be an extension. I'm going to install the app here. As you see, I've already done it. You can launch it from here. Once it's installed, you can actually just go to your bar. Betaflight pops right up. You can make a desktop application as well. Alright, and looks like everything's good to go here. Once you've made it to this screen, we're ready to plug in our quad. And we've got our micro USB plugged in, and for this we can actually go ahead and connect. And then we're going to see a readout of the accelerometers here, and then all kind of fun stuff. This thing should be calibrated for the accelerometers. If not, you can do this. It just tells you how to do it here. Place it on a level surface and then begin the calibration. I have not done that because it's already done. What we're going to be doing today is setting up the modes here, looking at the switches on our receiver, and maybe doing some changes here in a couple of the other different little settings. So if we go to modes here, or even receiver, we're not going to get any input if we turn our receiver on. Alright, we're not going to get any input there. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to plug our battery in. Alright, so without the props on, we've got our battery plugged in. Alright, now what we want to do is we can see inputs here. That's my pitch, my roll, my yaw, and then my throttle. Okay, everything looks good. It's going to show you kind of what your quad's going to do right there at the bottom right. Not really a big deal. It's kind of mostly self-explanatory at that point. We're going to go to modes. Okay. Now, if we've got the switches set up like we had them before, then we should see something on auxiliary 1. And if you look at this, if this is the first time you're plugging this thing in, then you should actually have just angle mode programmed or installed, however you want to say it. Some quads ready to fly come with just ARM or whatever you want to. There's different names for it. Acro mode. All right, and you know, then you have to add angle mode yourself. This one, the Wizard X220 that I'm talking about, came with just angle mode. All right, so I cleared it out and I made it look like this. If you look at receiver, all right, so if we flip a couple switches, it'll tell us what they are. All right, so the two switches that we have set up is the auxiliary 1, which is our 3-position switch. 1, 2, 3, and auxiliary 2, which is our 2-position switch. Okay, so now we know which ones we're using. Auxiliary 1 is 3-position, auxiliary 2 is 2-position. So we're going to go to modes. All right. What we're going to do, this is just the way that I've decided to set it up after a few videos that I've watched, is I'm actually going to real quick add a range for arming. Okay, and arming should be on auxiliary 2 because that's going to be our 2-position switch, and that's just an on or off position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag it over here. Alright, so if you look at this little yellow guy here, when I click it, when I switch it, he's going to move way over here. Alright, so this is the up position. Well, when I click it, when I flip this switch down, I want the arm, right, function to encompass the area that this is in. Okay, so I don't know the technical things and phrases, if this is a frequency, what this number represents, but when this switch is flipped, this is what your quad is reading, okay, in this area, in the 2000s, alright? So we just want to pull that bar to this area here. Real simple. There's an air mode, alright? I actually do fly with air mode, and I don't have a very good explanation of what it is. All I know is that it helps kind of smooth out a few things when you're flying and things like that. So when you kill throttle, the blades will still be spinning a little bit. I actually probably will put this back on, and I'll show you how I do that and give you an example of how you can play around with these bars to do all kind of different cool little things. So angle mode is set up, and that's actually going to be on auxiliary 1. Okay, you may have to do that yourself. This is what I had already. So if you look at this 3-position switch. Alright, so we got 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so our yellow marker here is going to be at position 1, position 2, alright, there it is, and position 3. So 1, 2, 3. So, and this is going to be as self-explanatory as possible, or, you know, not self-explanatory, but it just made sense to me to have my first mode be acro mode. So what we're going to do is this is going to be empty. All right. So acro is going to be nothing. All right. No angle, no anything, no inputs whatsoever. Okay. So our second position on the 3-position switch is going to be angle mode. And then so this slider right here on auxiliary channel 1 is going to encompass this area, this 1500 area. Now it can be way over here, it can be here, you know, I just kind of make it even, just kind of OCD about it, no big deal. We're going to move on from this, okay? So we want to make a horizon mode, all right? And that's going to be auxiliary 1 as well, because this is a 3-stage switch. So horizon, what we're going to do is we're going to drag it over here, and this area here is the 3rd position of our switch, okay? And there it is. So that means, what that means now is in position 1 over here, and with it armed, so we've got this one here, we're going to arm it. Alright, the quad's armed, it's ready to go. And it is in nothing mode, alright, acro mode. No angle or horizon inputs. Now if we flip it to 2, okay, we're going to be in angle mode. Alright, now if we flip it to the 3rd position, we're going to be in horizon mode. Alright, so the difference between acro, angle, and horizon, real quick, you may not know, acro mode or zero balance mode, wherever you want to call it, just kind of layman's terms. The reason I'm kind of pointing over here is because it doesn't exist. It's not here. I don't have anything there to give it anything, because your quad isn't going to receive any input from the board to help level it. That is going to be difficult to fly. That's how all the racers and the freestylers and everything else fly. That's the cool stuff. It's difficult. That's where you want to kind of get. If you never get out of the angle horizon mode area, that's okay. This is not about trying to reach a specific goal or height, and if you can't, then you shouldn't be in the hobby. There's people that believe that, and I don't believe that. You're all here to have fun, and if that's what's fun to you, then you know, have at it. All right. So flip the switch to 2 from 1. This is going to be here, okay? And what that is, angle mode, all right? So angle mode is not going to let your quad move at any specific angle, forwards, backwards, reverse, left, right, any more than a 50-degree angle, all right? So anything past, so if you roll it to the right or left, it's going to auto level itself, which means it won't let you flip, and what it's going to end up doing is drifting in that direction. Okay, and you'll be able to see that if you've tried to get it up off the ground a little bit and give it some inputs, you'll notice that. What horizon mode's going to do, if we flip that switch to 3, is a very similar thing. So it's going to auto level your quad, but it does not limit the angles in which your quad can turn or flip. So if you do give it too much roll to the right or pitch to the forwards or reverse or left, then your quad can roll over. Okay, but it will auto level itself if it can, and I'm trying to explain this as best I can. I'm still trying to understand it myself, and I'm playing around in horizon mode with my quad. I've done that a few times. I've done some flips. I'm not going to go over how to do flips in this video. Okay, I'll try and talk about that later. Pretty much, if you try and do a flip in horizon mode and you give it more than 50 degrees roll or other inputs, and you don't kill your throttle, then it will still drift in the direction in which you're rolling it. So if you roll it to the right to try and do a flip or a roll all the way around, and you're still giving it throttle, you could end up smashing into the ground. So real quick, just kind of give it some throttle, kill the throttle, hit your roll, you'll do a roll, it'll auto level itself, give it more throttle to keep it off the ground, and you'll be good to go. That's all I'm going to touch on that. So I'm going to add an air mode real quick. And what that's going to be is on auxiliary channel 1 as well. I'm not going to touch on this too much. All I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it all the way from the right to the left. And what that's going to do is it's going to make this little blip here, no matter if it's on channel 3, 2, or 1, all right, it's going to encompass that no matter what. So air mode would always be on, all right? It's a minimum of 900 RPMs here, max 2100. So that's going to give it, when I'm in acro mode, when I kill the throttle, it won't kill the props completely, and it'll be a little bit smoother when I'm doing some maneuvers. I'm not at a skill level right now where I can use it. I'm keeping it on because it was recommended by a few other people that I saw online, and I'm just trying it out. Okay, so that's a good example of how you can use these sliders to your advantage. All right, so because this will encompass everything. This will encompass just this section, just this section. We're going to save this. Alright, so right now, if you can hear that, my motor's actually started spinning. I saved the setting, and this switch right here, if you look, it's actually armed. Okay, I'm going to kill that. That switch was in the armed position. Armed, this quad will spin its motors. Alright, and that's just what that does. Okay, so we can actually we actually need to go to, and I don't, like I said, this is all I've learned so far from videos and advice that I've had in the past. So this is the best I can give you, and hopefully this will get you flying in horizon, angle, and acro mode. We're gonna move on to configuration. I've had some conflicting inputs from motor stop that's natively on, and what that's going to do is it's going to not let your motor spin when armed. Well, we know that when we have it armed, there's a minimum RPM rate that motor is going to spin. If we have this off, sometimes it spins, and I notice sometimes they don't, so I can't tell when it's armed. It's like this right here is conflicting with the armed mode that I had put on. So I'm going to turn that off. You can mess with your minimum throttle. That's your lowest ESC value when armed. 135. I've just received, some advice that this is just a good number, so that's what I'm on now. We're not going to mess with anything else, especially this, because this is how your quad and your flight controller will control the motors and the quad and everything else. We're a Quad X. That's what we're flying. Okay. I don't think any of this requires any input on anything right now. If you look down here, we got a black box, okay? That's on, and we're going to keep that on. So if you want, we can go all the way down here to the left and click on the black box. And instead of it being at 1 kilohertz, 100%, we went ahead and turned that down to 250 hertz at 25%. Alright, I don't know what that means. I know that it's this means that up here, if you look, it will fill up slower. The data you have on your quad will fill up slower. I'm gonna kill this. It will fill up slower, and so it will take up less space on that chip. And it's a small chip, so 100% will kill it. We'll fill that up in like one flight. So black boxes are pretty cool. I'm not going to erase this because I want to see what it does. And you actually do have to download another program just like this one, the Betaflight Black Box Explorer, to see your black box. I'm going to look through. We're not going to type any code. With the battery plugged in, and we're going to understand that moving parts are bad, sliders, remove all propellers. We've already done that. We're going to click this, and we can actually hit master and spool up our motors on the quad, okay? And we can see that they're all level and they're all working okay. Alright, we're going to unclick that, and we've got, looks like I did not save my modes, okay? So remember to save. Looks like I didn't save it, or something happened there. We're not going to be messing with any of this. These are all stock settings. I know that you can turn down your super rates on your pitch, roll, and yaw a little bit, to make them a little bit less responsive for new flyers, okay? New pilots. But I've not messed with any of this, and you can if you like. There's other videos showing you how to do that. I don't know how to do that, okay? I think that's pretty much it, guys. Tried to make this as short and to the point as possible. I've never made any of these kind of tutorial videos and never used any kind of screen capture before, so I hope this was clear enough and informative. I think that's all we need. I don't think there's any other information that we need for this video. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna actually be making another video right after this, as pretty much just an update as to what I've been doing with my quad, what I think about it so far, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, which isn't much, and you know, try maybe a few sneak peeks about what I'm going to be making in the future, some cool little clips about some flips and stuff that I've been doing, and how I did that. So anyways, guys, this helped you out, like, share, subscribe. You know, the more support I get on here, the easier and easier it's going to be to start trying to make more and more of these videos. I'm really only concerned about trying to get, you know, a bigger support base, more or less, because I'm actually trying to appeal to Vertitech Racing, Vertitech Incorporated, because you know, if I can appeal to a larger base over here on YouTube, then he'll be more inclined to kind of help us little guys out. You know, maybe do a few little giveaways, things like that. I plan on interviewing the racers on his team, interviewing him. We already talked back and forth about doing a little noob section where I ask him questions and he answers them and stuff like that. So anyways, guys, I'm rambling on. I'll see you guys later. See ya.